And this is Metal Nate and Duncan Destroyer. And we are here with
Winston from Parkway Drive.
Hell yeah. And you are here today at July 13th at Mansfield for Warped Tour. How is Warped Tour going for you guys?
I've said this every interview, but real hot. Nah, it's great. Summertime in America, sweat, dirt.
I bet last week was pretty bad because of that heat wave.
Horrible. I think a little bit before last week we were in like New Mexico and Arizona. It was like 115. It was. Yeah.
Jeez, that's pretty crazy. You just released Deep Blue on June 29th in the U.S., but you guys released it earlier in Australia. Are you playing a lot of new material on your set?
We're playing like a little bit from Killing with a Smile, a little bit from Horizons, and a little bit with Deep Blue. So it's pretty much a slice of everything. It's because you only have half an hour for a set, so you don't want to be the band that plays all new stuff. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. And are fans responding well to the new material? I mean, have they been coming to you with good comments?
Yeah, comments have been great. The reaction's been great live, and I know it's an interesting tour to have as your first tour for a record Warped, because it's definitely a tour where I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't even seen us before who are coming to watch. So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
And a lot of bands have trouble with their third major release. You guys don't see? I mean, I'll be honest. Having listened to it, I mean, I don't think you guys are going to have that issue. What do you attribute that to?
I've got no idea. I think maybe the fact that we've never really aimed to produce anything for the fan's sake, as opposed to just writing stuff that we like. We don't really think about what other people are going to think of the music. We just write what we are interested in and what the music we kind of write, and that seems to translate into what people want to hear, I guess. So I guess if you aim for nothing, then at least if you succeed, it's something more than what you aim for.
Yeah. And this is the first album you've done without Adam Dukowitz of Killswitch Engage. Was that what was the reason behind that? I mean, do you feel like that was a good thing for you, or?
To be honest, yeah, I'm 100% happy with the decision. Like the way this record turned out is the happiest I've ever been with any recording. When we originally went to record, we were trying to work with Adam for a long time, and he was trying to work with us, and we just couldn't get schedules together. So
it wasn't a personality conflict.
No, hell no. Like, we love Adam. He's a legend, and we love the work he's done in the past. When we realized we couldn't work with him, we realized the fact that we're definitely never going to be able to do a record that sounds exactly the same as the ones we did in the past. So let's make something that sounds completely different. So we just started working on that idea and went with Joe and went with the idea of doing it really, really raw. So yeah, that was it.
And one thing I noticed about it is there's not as many ridiculous breakdowns. Not that's a bad thing. Did you plan that, or did it just kind of happen?
The idea behind it was to have a bit more flow through it, and we figured it wasn't so much that wasn't as many breakdowns. It was just we thought we'd try and make the ones that were there work better, and we thought if we had bits in between that contrasted a bit more, it would work better in that respect. Like if you have a song that's just breakdown, by the end of it, it's just you're either bored or the heaviness doesn't hit because it's just all heavy. So we figure if there's softer parts in between, when the heavy bits do hit, they seem a hell of a lot heavier. So.
Okay, cool. Deep Blue, you have to use a lot of like sea and ocean imagery. Is that because of your love for surfing?
Love the ocean, I think. Yeah. Like I think when you grow up like in the ocean, like it's something that's in you and in your blood. Like I can't imagine living a life that doesn't involve the ocean. So yeah, I guess that's why. It's weird, and the songs I've written with that in my mindset have been the songs that have been the easiest to write and the songs that mean the most to me. So, like I think on Horizons, Boneyards, and Idols and Anchors, like I started writing in that mindset, and I continued with this record. Okay. So that's kind of those songs felt the best for me.
That's awesome. I'm just gonna pause this for a second. Do you have a favorite song on the album? On the new one?
To be honest, not really. Only because I really like all the songs, and I found that no two songs sound the same and have the same feel. So I get different things out of different songs. So maybe Deliver Me, just because it involves so much different stuff. It goes from being really heavy to really sludgy to really soft to fast to heavy. Like it just kind of has a bit of everything in there. So yeah, other than that, it's a hard pick.
Okay, fair enough. How do you keep your voice in shape while on tour?
I don't. To be honest, I don't even think about it these days. I used to completely die when we first started. Like I couldn't do more than 2 shows in a row without talking like, I don't know, someone with laryngitis. But I think my throat just adapted over the years to what I do, and I do my thing on stage and I come off and I sound like this, and that's it. So, yeah.
Nice. on Deep Blue, Sleepwalker. What was the what do the lyrics mean to you? Like, and how did you what was the influence behind them?
The influence behind those lyrics were basically the idea of the 9-to-5 grind and what society has deemed not acceptable, but I guess the status quo for what needs to be done to continue this society's progress. And when you look at the progress that we make and the amount of work that we put in and the gain that individuals have, it seems really, really minute. Like you have these vast armies of people programmed to do really menial tasks their entire life, and they see 0% of the profit, or like it doesn't push society forward, it pushes someone's bank balance up. So it's strange that we continue to perpetuate this cycle. So.
Okay. For the band as a whole, what has your biggest influence been? Who's influenced you, I guess, the most?
To be honest, these days, it's not really bands, it's just life in general. And when it comes to music, we've always just written we write music that I guess we want to write and we want to hear, and it's fun to play live. And that depends on what stage of life we're in. And we've never really been at a point where we're like, we want to sound like this band, or this band means this much to us, we're going to try and do that. We just always kind of, if we see someone playing live and we're like, that's interesting, we'll research a way of playing and maybe develop it a bit more into our style. But other than that, it's just us and interest, I guess.
Okay. Cool. And then, favorite tour you've ever been on, overall? And who was it with?
That's a real good question. I don't even know. I'll just say our last Europe tour, because that was pretty great. And that was with the Warriors, Despised Icon, Winds of Plague, and 50 Lions. And it was great because we played a whole bunch of awesome shows in places that we've been before. Plus we went to a whole bunch of Eastern European countries, like crazy countries, like Latvia and Slovakia. And we played a show in Bratislava, and there was a pet shop across the road where you could buy a monkey for $200 or a crocodile for $80 and stuff like that. Like, it's just wild stuff. So yeah.
That sounds pretty ridiculous. Yeah. That sounds pretty cool. Is there any band on here that you've been excited to get to see live?
Every Time I Die, every day, they're still absolutely amazing. 4 Year Strong have been amazing. You May at 6. Bring the Horizon, biggest band on the planet right now, pretty much. So they're always interesting. There's a whole bunch. It's so hard to pick because you have like 100 bands to choose from a day. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear you there. And then after Warped Tour, you're doing Australia. You're going back home, and you're headlining a tour with, what's it, the Ghost Inside?
Devil Wears Prada, Ghost Inside, and 50 Lions. Yeah. So yeah, it's first tour in Australia on the new record. The US actually got to hear the new stuff first, which is pretty crazy.
I like that.
Yeah, a lot of Australian fans are pissed, but yeah. Oh well, yeah. No, it's exciting. We're definitely psyched to go back to Australia and play. And to be honest, I don't think it's definitely not the last time we're going to be over here. It's just that as soon as the new record comes out, we just start the touring cycle again. So we'll be back here pretty soon.
And one last question, I guess. How does touring in the US compare to touring in Australia or overseas in the UK?
To be honest, it's all awesome, and it's really hard to pick a difference these days. The only difference is just the scale of things. Like Australia is very hard to compare the scale because we've been playing there for a long time, and the crowds there are really, really large. But the vibe and everything is just the same everywhere. It's always just crazy. It's just however many people are going crazy that's the difference.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.